Good morning, and thank you for attending this session. My name is Arash from Dell Technologies, CxO Advisor for UK and Europe, and really pleased to be with you today. So I want to share a story around the journey that we went through as not just the world-class leading essential technology vendor, but also as one of the top global manufacturers by revenue, one of the largest retailers globally, and with a significant presence in the financial services sector. And also talk a little bit about our partnership with organizations such as NVIDIA and Microsoft. We have seen the rise of generative AI, and we started noticing it a few years back. And we had a board-level meeting. And at that meeting, our leadership team discussed what if there was a competitor that could leverage technologies such as generative AI and the emerging ecosystem around it to disrupt Dell Technologies' go-to-market strategy. How could we future-proof our business? What should we do to prepare for the disruption that lies ahead? And as a result of those efforts and the lessons that were learned, the Dell AI Factory was born. And the idea of the Dell AI Factory is more than just validated hardware and software and platforms. It's an approach, it's a framework that allows organizations to accelerate and de-risk the adoption of enterprise AI. And I'd like to invite you to consider what we mean by enterprise AI. The language has to be really specific for our future success. And from our point of view, enterprise AI is about the application of AI against the most impactful processes in the most important parts of your organization to drive material impact to your business. Does that definition resonate with anyone? Please just raise your hands. Does anyone disagree with that statement? Very happy to have a robust debate afterwards. But essentially, that's the approach that we took to ensure that we move from the fear of missing out phase to a structured investment approach to how we use technologies like artificial intelligence and other emerging solutions around it to add value to our business. And it's not about the selection of technology, it's about driving business outcomes. So how do we do that? We had hundreds of use cases to go after. We decided to pick the most impactful and the most feasible use cases. The measure of business impact is around increase in revenue, reduction in costs, reduction in risk, improving customer experience, a combination of those factors. But it's basically data-driven. And the measure of feasibility is around the availability of data, the cost and risk associated with adopting the AI models, the impact on business and processes, and the overall maintenance and running costs of the platforms that are required. And in order to reduce the amount of technology silos and complexity within our organization, we decided to cluster these use cases into common deployment patterns. If you don't do that, you end up with plenty of snowflake architectures. It will get out of hand very quickly, and it will have undesirable consequences. And only when you've done that groundwork, only at that point you're then ready to start making informed decisions about the platforms that you wish to use to drive those business outcomes. So it's about staying in alignment with your business priorities. Now, we collaborate with many hyperscalers. We have absolutely nothing against public cloud adoption, and we use cloud-first solutions within our own business, such as Microsoft Copilot. It's a very effective solution. But we are also very conscious that whilst it's easy to start in the cloud and it can accelerate your go-to-market, it's also very expensive to scale in the cloud. And time and again, we have shown our enterprise customers that we can build, once we understand their business requirements, we can build capabilities on premises that can deliver the same outcomes with much more control and at a fraction of that cost. And from a governance perspective, internally at Dell Technologies, our AI Center of Excellence, headed by our Global Chief AI and Technology Officer, John Rose, is all about avoiding reinventing the wheel and staying laser focused on the return on investment on the AI initiatives that we adopt. The idea is that the return on investment on your first project should fuel the next one. And if you take this approach, the momentum continues and you continue that cycle of innovation and you continue to future-proof your business, which is exactly what's happening at Dell Technologies. We focused on areas that make us competitive, such as our sales force, by leveraging a sales chat capability that can reason over structured, unstructured data internally and externally, providing real, valuable, and actionable insights about our customers. Our sales force moved away from spending a huge amount of time preparing for meetings. In fact, we managed to get 20 to 30, in some cases 40% time back, time spent in front of customers rather than sifting through internal content. Our products are software driven, so with generative code assistance, we managed to increase the rate of innovation around our products. Our supply chain is one of the most admired and studied supply chains in the world. So issues such as decision orchestration, taking advantage of the sophisticated demand signals that's available to us, ensuring that we can continue the resilience and the throughput of our supply chain capability has been enhanced dramatically, leveraging generative AI and classic AI capabilities. And of course, resolving support issues both internally and externally, leveraging AI to understand what is the most effective next best action so that we can mitigate the risk and shorten the time to resolution of issues. Now, as it was discussed earlier, we are in an exponential age. We are seeing the evolution of AI, and this landscape is changing rapidly. We are seeing the rise of agentic workloads. We are seeing hints of AI manifestation in a physical form. And of course, I'm not really brave enough to predict the future, but I would suggest that at some point, we will move to an environment that might resemble artificial general intelligence. So how do we prepare for that future? Our customers are fully aware by now that the combination of these classic and generative AI capabilities with their enterprise data is going to form some of the most differentiated business outcomes that they can create for some time to come. So they're coming to us to say, well, I want to avoid fear of missing out. I want to avoid misdirected spend. Can you help? And this is why we took the Dell AI Factory to the next level. A subset of the Dell AI Factory strategy is our strategic partnership with our friends at NVIDIA. NVIDIA AI Enterprise, the NIM capabilities, allows you to accelerate the outcomes that you want to achieve by use cases and validated architectures that we have built together with our friends at NVIDIA. Scalable solutions that avoid misdirected spend. They are tightly coupled with the software platform and highly optimized for your needs. And there is tremendous opportunity for getting this wrong. By the time I'm speaking with you, this data is probably outdated. So how do you size your solutions? How do you make sure that you right-size your investments? And the way that we help you leveraging the Dell AI Factory framework is understanding your focus area from a business perspective, then identifying the use cases, identifying the deployment patterns, and then leveraging a broad ecosystem of partnerships that's available to us, because both Dell Technologies and NVIDIA do promote extensibility and open source platforms. And it's only at that point where we start talking about validated platforms and solutions that might fit your needs. And they could be solutions that fit within your data center, your private cloud, edge environments, as well as potentially public cloud capabilities. Now, we are all aware of the geopolitical issues that we are facing at the moment. So I would suggest that cyber resilience and a safeguarded approach to AI is also important. So at Dell Technologies, we have a raft of solutions together with our partners to make sure that we implement a secure by default enterprise architecture leveraging zero trust principles, but we also emphasize on the fact that you need to protect your minimum viable enterprise in the event of a destructive attack. And I would suggest to you that how many of you, by the way, know about Echo Leak? So Echo Leak was a vulnerability that was discovered where a bad actor could ask a Gen AI model that has access to your enterprise data to essentially summarize your enterprise data and send it to the bad actor. If you haven't heard about it, please read up on it. What I'm trying to say is that these agentic models are going to increase your attack surface, so please consider cyber resilience and security as you build these capabilities within your organizations. Your data, as it was mentioned earlier, is your asset, is your most differentiated capability. The higher the quality of the data, the higher the quality of the outcomes that you get from your AI investments. And conversely, if you have bad data, if the quality isn't where it needs to be, it can have unintended and disastrous consequences. And your data is a treasure trove of insights about your business, your intellectual property, your operating model, your market data, customer data, and unlike your competition, you have unique access to that data. So at Dell Technologies, we have developed a 3-pillar framework that enables us to identify the right landing zone for your data and the workloads surrounding that data. The compliance and regulatory issues that you may need to face up to as a business. If you're a manufacturer, for example, and you want to have quality control in line as you produce your products, you are making key business decisions that are time sensitive. And there will be some level of data gravity around those use cases. Does it make sense to take that data to the cloud, to those cloud-first AI models? Or does it make sense to bring AI to your data? Those are the conversations and discussions that we can have with you when we assess your business needs before proposing a solution for your organization. Data has intrinsic value, as I just explained, depending on your industry, of course. At the point of creation, data usually has enormous operational value. And that perceived value starts to decline until you start gathering enough data to gain actionable insights around the long-term trends that are impacting your business. And where you place that data has an impact on how you can exploit its value. So, this is where our partnership with Microsoft comes in, because we are seeing tremendous level of innovation opportunities across a number of sectors. We are involved, for example, in healthcare, reducing the time to diagnosis for certain cancerous diseases from 2 days to just under 12 hours. That's a tremendous impact on patient outcome. And so with Microsoft, where we have had a multi-decade partnership, we have developed a range of solutions and capabilities. The most pertinent one to the placement of data and workloads is how do you design a multi-cloud capability within your business strategy so that it can continue to take full advantage of data throughout its life cycle. One of the issues with leveraging multi-cloud capabilities is the diversity of architecture and the diversity of experience. With the capabilities that we have developed with our friends at Microsoft, we can help you have a consistent experience on premises as well as in the cloud environments. Because, as I said, in some cases, it might make sense to take your data to the cloud, and in other cases, it might make sense to bring cloud to your data. And in order to do this frictionlessly, we have worked very hard with Microsoft to create pre-validated capabilities that allows you to run Azure workloads and embrace other cloud ecosystems, leveraging Microsoft's Azure Arc capability and have that consistency of experience across multiple cloud and on-premises and edge and private data center environments. The future is difficult to predict, but we are already seeing within Dell Technologies internally agentic workloads working in collaboration with our sales force to achieve powerful outcomes. I'd like to highlight the fact that increasingly the need for having AI-enabled devices is going to be more and more important. And we are making, again, investments together with our friends at Microsoft and other ecosystem partners to create a diverse ecosystem of AI-enabled devices to help prepare us for what lies ahead. At this point, I'd like to share a brief video to illustrate what I'm talking about.
Hi, Mike. What can I help you with today?
Hi, Clara. I need to onboard a new employee.
Certainly. Is the new employee part of the engineering team?
No, he's not.
What is the first name of the new employee?
It's John.
What is the last name of the new employee?
Smith.
Can you type in the employee's email address?
Sure, there you go.
Okay, thanks. Give me a few seconds to get into the portal and get them set up.
Sure, no problem. I'm just going to sit and watch. Hopefully I'll actually learn something in case I need to do it myself someday.
Okay, the new user is created and I've sent them an email with their temporary password. I'm going to go ahead and invite them to the company's Slack channel as well, so they can immediately join the conversations.
That's great. Can you send John a note in Slack to welcome him as well once you're done?
Sure, that's a great idea. Give me a sec.
No problem.
Okay, that's done. I'm going to send him a personal note myself. As his new co-pilot, I want him to know that I can help him in the future as well, whenever he has a task for me to do. Is there anything else you need from me?
Not for now, but let me know when you learn any new skills so I can ask for help with other stuff.
I certainly will. I'm learning how to do more stuff every week. Have a good day.
That's impressive, but I would be even more impressed if you could handle a complicated first name and surname combination like mine. But you can see where things are moving towards. And we have a range of success stories. Some of them are featured here, but what they all have in common is that we have remained laser focused on driving business outcomes and delivering competitive differentiation for our customers who choose to engage with Dell Technologies and leverage our advisory services to achieve these capabilities. So, there are two key questions. How do I start, and where do I start from? I'd like to invite you to consider some next steps. If you want to explore these topics in a little bit more detail, our stand is just there. So please come and see myself and my colleagues. We'll be happy to discuss these topics with you. But more importantly, we have our executive briefing centers in Europe, in London and Paris. I would imagine that you would want to probably go to our London office. And we can work with you to co-create an agenda that is aligned to your board level priorities and discuss those topics in some more detail so that we can help you understand how Dell Technologies can be relevant to those priorities. And if you want to see some of these use cases being brought to life, our customer solution centers around the world are excellent facilities for you to visit. The closest one to here is in Limerick. Having said that, we can take you there virtually as well. And that's where we have use cases across a variety of industries, such as healthcare, manufacturing, financial services, retail, and so on. And you can actually see for yourself how these technologies can deliver value. The last thing I would like to bring to your attention is our flagship event, which is happening around the world. The one in London is Dell Tech Forum, which is taking place on 18th of November 2025 at the magazine. That's where you will see our industry partners, experts from Dell Technologies and NVIDIA and Intel and other key partners being present. And there is plenty of valuable content for your consumption so that you can understand what lies ahead and prepare yourself for the evolution of the platforms that we are building together with our ecosystem partners for your benefit. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you very much.